Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, hi everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. And our guest is Dr. Clare. I'll just go through a couple of slides before we start. So, our vision at the ICF Saudi chapter to be the leading catalyst for excellence in coaching and personal development in Saudi Arabia. And I'd like you to meet our board. We have Lina, Haytham, Abdusattar, me, Sarah, Rasha, and Abdurrahman. And Sarah is today with me for support. Thank you so much, Sarah. Lina behind the scene, managing the Zoom. Thank you so much, Lina. And let's go move on to our guest. So our guest is a famous person, Dr. Clare. She will deliver a webinar called Ensuring Relational, Systemic, and Board Coaching Creates Impact. To know a little bit about Dr. Clare, she's a holder of doctorate in education, a registered mentor, coach, and ACTC holder, EMCC, MB, and ITCA MB also, accredited supervisor, also certified in CTI, CBCC, ICF backed award winners for 2023. EMCC special recognition for team coaching, thought leader and researcher, global speaker, experiential trainer, master coach, and master practitioner. Accredited supervisor as well, expert in leadership and organizational development, psychometrist. And she's passionate about co-creating positive transformation and partnership with people, organization, and beyond. Dr. Clare, we are so glad to have you with us. And I think many of us know you and what you do in the region. Just a quick reminder, everyone, before you leave, please don't forget to scan the barcode for a quick survey. Now, Dr. Clare, ready? I'm going to stop sharing. Excellent. Over to you. Thank you very much.
So welcome, everyone. What I've got today for us is it's a whistle-stop tour. So buckle up your seatbelt, get your feet on the ground, hold on to your hats, because we're covering quite a lot. And I also want to provide you with time to enable you to ask questions. So one thing, just in case anyone has to dip off early, 10% off any of our programs, our coaching, our mentor coaching, our supervision, but anyone who attends this session and anyone in ICF Doha chapter. Sorry, ICF Qatar chapter. I'm in Doha at the moment. That's why Doha was on my mind. So one thing that's really important to me about team coaching is the team ready? So many times when I'm supervising, someone new to team coaching is really keen to get out there quite rightly, practice their skills, make an impact. And can't team coaching make such a positive transformational impact, not just for the individuals and the team at team level, but for the organization and beyond? For me, even more of a ripple than one-on-one coaching. However, there's times when teams are not ready for numerous reasons. They may not be ready because the organization doesn't really understand fully what team coaching is and is not. So just for us to start with, team coaching is when a team, that's people working together with a common purpose, have sessions, be it online or in person, for a number of months, where they look at what they need to focus on together for the impact that they need to create to operationalize, in a business sense, their purpose. So moving back from that, group coaching is, for example, I used to do work at the Capital Club in Bahrain, and there was a group of Saudi female entrepreneurs, fabulous group, beautiful, beautiful memories of working with this group. The reason they were a group is because they all owned different businesses. They came over the bridge to the Capital Club, and we, for usually 2.5 hours together, there was 6 of them, I coached the whole group, and they all together benefited for their businesses. And of course, there's a knock-on effect of networking and, learning from each other. And even by the end of it, some of them using coaching style questions and approaches, not only with each other, but their teams and their businesses. However, the difference was it may be the same topic, but they had different businesses. So it's a group. Another group coaching was in a bank, people from different departments getting together to have coaching on certain topics so they could learn from each other, and it enables learning across the organization as well. However, they were not a team, they were not on the same team. So board coaching for me is exactly the same as team coaching, and it's very different as well. So board coaching is for those on the board, and the difference is quite often you're working with people who are senior leaders. You're working with people who are leading leaders. The amount of complexity is usually increased. However, it's also quite often with board coaching even more difficult to get them together. So getting them together, diarising can be a project in itself. And when board coaching takes place, they can then use those competencies that they're developing through skill drills, which we blend into our team coaching, but also they can share the knowledge from the other entities that they work with, which may be other sectors. So, of course, as you know, you can have people on the board of a hospital who may be also on the board of a financial institution or a charity. And so that cross-fertilization of knowledge, well, sometimes when I do board coaching, I think, thank you so much, because I've learned so much out of this session. Should I be paying them? And of course, then when team coaches are external and they work on different projects in different organizations, online, in different countries, in person, all of that experience we can bring to the teams that we coach in the future as well. And tapping into, and I know that the Saudi chapter, maybe someone can mention it in a little while, is actually starting an initiative in terms of supervision to do with Lego, which is super exciting, to use the word super twice. And the way that supervision can positively impact not only the work and the confidence and the restorative element for the team coach, but can also impact the work that they're doing with the team and way beyond, through challenge, through support, through resource development, through benchmarking, and through ethical considerations. And so where we are with ICF right now in terms of supervision of team coaches, as you probably know, ICF now, you can become a credentialed team coach, ACTC. Here we go with the acronyms, Advanced Certification in Team Coaching. And to get that, one of the things that's required is supervision. Yay, ICF last year acknowledged the importance of supervision. And I've been working since last January with a team of people around the globe, creating the supervision competencies, which should be out this month from ICF.
Wow.
Yay! So I see that team coaches, from my experience as a team coach and as a supervisor, I've worked internally in team coaching and externally. Team coaches tend to need even more supervision than one-on-one coaches, no matter where they are in their stage of development. So some people say, well, you can't have supervision on team coaching and still until you start team coaching. No, supervision, the team coaching is also extremely beneficial right from the get-go. What ways do I price? What are different models of pricing? What way can I promote myself and the work? How do I pitch the benefits of team coaching to get buy-in? What ways can I support the executive sponsor in this organization, the instigator of the team coaching, to get buy-in from other people and the teams? So all of that is for the team coaching. So bringing that back to how I started, is the team ready for team coaching? Are they a group? And sometimes that's absolutely fine. And they work on different bits and then they glue it together. Or are they a team where leaning in and working together enables even more impact than they can do on their own? Okay. The other reasons for team coach readiness surveys to be conducted is if you're working with a team who's not ready and they may need, for example, team building for many different reasons, and one especially to support camaraderie, communication, psychological safety, then doing that piece, team building before team coaching, away days, activities, and then capturing the learning to apply back in the workplace, that is extremely valuable. So be conscious, is the team and the system that they operate ready for them to jump into team coaching? Okay, now I'll put my email in the chat. I've got a survey on team coaching readiness. If you send me an email, I can happily send that across to you. And we actually use it through, things like SurveyMonkey. So you've got the individual's responses on the readiness. You can collate them to get the whole team's responses, but even 360. Is the HR ready? Is L&D ready? Is OD ready? Is the CEO ready? Okay, so the more data, the more accurate and effective the team coach readiness survey can be. Okay, now I've talked a lot so far. Any questions? Rehan, I have a question, just as you took yourself off mic. So this is a bit embarrassing, please forgive me. I've done coaching in person today, as well as 3 ICF, International Coaching Week events. Are we together an hour until 1:15?
Yes.
Okay, phew, because I thought we would get together an hour. Fantastic. So any questions, or I'll move on?
No. Can I just remind them of the generous offer in the chat? So
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. So Dr. Claire is offering 10% discount for everybody who's attending that webinar at the ICF Saudi chapter. Thank you, everyone. Please check it in the chat. Yes, Dr. Claire, over to you.
No problem. So yeah, anyone attending and also anyone in the chapter who wasn't able to attend. And so where we're going now is I've got a few slides. I've also got some things on Miro and a little AI activity at the end as well that we can use with Teams. So bringing up my slides. Some of these are from our team coach pitching. You will get the slides afterwards, so don't worry about any of that. Ooh, it wanted me to click twice. So we've worked internally and externally as team coaches. We're a team of 8 MCCs and 8 PCCs. We also coach in numerous different languages, and we've got a few books out there. One is Creative Reflective Practice. It's got a lot in there about team coaching. I do work with Peter Hawkins, David Clutterbuck. I also do work with Henley Business School, and then I trained in supervision, then team coaching supervision. And putting team coaching and supervision together is just heaven for me. It's one of my favorite things. We try and include creative approaches. So image cards, for example, with a team, asking them which card together, so they have to decide together which card together represents your team purpose. Now here we've just got a few different images on the screen. However, we have cards, many different ones that you can use in person, but also you can use them online on Miro or through things like Deck Hive. There's, with all these things, there's the free version, and then there's the pay a little extra and you get a few extra options version. And so by using images metaphorically, that discussion can enable a team to grow in awareness and understanding. I mean, at the end of the day, our role as a team coach, why do we team coach? We team coach to enable the team to have a positive impact for the sake of their purpose, for their stakeholders, for the products and services they sell to be out there, for the team to communicate and work with other teams in the organization. For a team of teams, so a team of teams, for example, is, I worked once with a team of teams that was a communications team, and there was internal comms, and there was digital and so forth. And together they were coached as a team of teams. So they had their individual image that they all connected with in terms of who we are as a team, but then for the team of teams, they had another image. And so images and metaphors, never underestimate them. They are so useful to enable conversations to happen. Another one is AI tools, ChatGPT. With one team, we use this tool where on their phones individually, they put a few words and said, make this into a team purpose statement. And then they read the words that they'd used and what ChatGPT came up with. And then collectively together,
Wow.
this is where the juicy bit takes place, collectively together, they had to create one team purpose statement. And that discussion from the individual to the collective is where the team as an entity understands each other even more. Why do you think we're here as a team? And what about you? And together, let's align on our purpose. Okay? And people are still coming in. So, next slide. We talked about team coach readiness. The other things we're going to look at is effective contracting. So with team coaching, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10-way contracting has to take place. Who is our client? We go with the team is our client. And of course, that includes the team leader. But who's in the team and who's not in the team is also an amazing and can be a long conversation pre-team coaching. So we tend to get together with the team, have a chat with them, who needs to be in the room physically or online when we're coaching you as a team. Fascinating conversations. For example, the PA of the team, do they need to be in the room or not?
Yeah.
Are they part of the team, or are they going to be outside of the team coaching sessions? We always like them in. However, it's totally up to the team. And then, of course, we contract with HR and procurement, all those, different things of organizational nuances. We contract with them. And that's the more formal bit of the contracting. But then we also we have a chat with each member of the team individually to enable them to support psychological safety, to get to know us, but also to share what they're looking forward to about the project, what they may see as setbacks or dependencies of the project, high dreams, low dreams, this type of thing. And we find that that helps when we get the team together for their first session. Now, the other things we're looking at shortly is ways to assess the needs of a team, creating iterative roadmaps, different tools you can use, different models, different techniques. So that question of what do you really do in team coaching, that will come out. And then longitudinally measuring the impact, because team coaching for us is at least 6 months. That's the way we see it, and sometimes even longer. And then we'll have a little chat at the end of the type of things that may come up in supervision. So team coach readiness, you can even somatically in the initial conversations, whether it's on the phone or online or in person, get a feel. Oh, I do like that slide. The colours look nice with the logos. You can get a feeling for, is this team ready? Is the team leader ready? Who has initiated this project? Sometimes we're asked to go in, and it's not worded like this, but we're asked to go and fix a team that's failing, or fix a team where there's conflict. We need to ensure that the people who are involved in any bit of the team coaching project understand team coaching is also for teams that are good, moving them to great. And teams perform. For us, even more important is impact. Because imagine, if you're a team and you're on a treadmill together, great, moving, but not getting anywhere. You're performing, but you're not creating the impact that's needed. You're not looking out there and addressing what's needed in the future right here today. Okay? And then what do we need together to focus on? So we always say team coaches are in partnership with the team as an entity, and leaning into that relationship and working on what does the relationship need. That's really important. So in contracting again, and I know I've mentioned the word contracting a lot, in contracting again, what ways do we need to work together to ensure that this team coaching project is effective? And then we need to see together where the team is at, where they need to be, and what ways the team can get there. So our Coach Me model looks at the skills of the team, the knowledge of the team. Things are changing so quickly. Upskilling or, gaining more knowledge of the sector of many things is important. The behaviors of the team. the way they are together in business as usual, even observing their business as usual meetings or observing them with clients. And then enabling them to reflect and capture the learning and use that for future, reflecting on projects, retrospectives, all that type of thing. And then transition planning from where they are to where they need to be, but also addressing what setbacks might happen. It's real life, it happens. What are the dependencies? The team needs this to be able to move forward. What are the nuances in the organizational system, such as the procurement process or, you know, lobbying for finance to move projects forward? How responsive are other departments? All of this is at play. And then the other thing about teams, getting their buy-in, enabling them to believe that team coaching will have positive impact. Letting them celebrate together the tiny things, but also the big wins over time. Fabulous activity for as is and to be. I remember the first time I used it, and it was with a senior leadership team of 7 people. And I'd planned, oh, maybe this will take an hour. And all we did, it was in person in a room, 2 flip charts and loads of stickies. Okay, there we go. There's your sticky notes. On this flip chart, go stick on there in as succinct as possible, as few words as possible, where you are at. And on the other one, where you need to be. And then the rest of the morning, the plan went out the window and we worked, because team coaching plans need to be iterative. We worked on taking what was off the flip chart and discussing them together. And that was the whole of the rest of the morning on that activity. Why? Because this team get together, and when their meetings take place, it's frenetic, and they never had time to be together in terms of a focus on developing the team. So the other thing we do is we created a tool called TAP 360, the Team Advanced Profile, to work on this as is to be. It's 360 because the team, including the team leader, who can either be identifiable in the results, in the ratings and the narrative, or they can be included in the team, but the comparison can be useful in terms of what the team leader thinks and what the team together, the rest of the team think. The stakeholders, even people outside the organization, can rate the team on these bits of the model that I've mentioned. And this helps us create an iterative team roadmap. So one team, it's called TAP. They said, does it stand for tapestry? You know, like a carpet, fabric, all these woven things together. And I thought, what a beautiful metaphor for working with a team. So we use this TAP 360 tapestry of teams, Team Advanced Profile, at the start of the engagement to help us decide together what needs a focus, low-hanging fruit, and other things that need more time. And then at the end of the engagement as well, to see what the impact's been. Now, what's great is, as you probably know, organizations love reporting. And when you do the start and the end one, it's really easy to report on the impact of the time and the finance that this team coaching has absorbed, so that they can see where the dial has moved on different indicators of high impact and high performance of this team. Okay. Generative thinking is another fabulous thing to work on as a skill drill with teams. What I like about that means I am listening to you. And then they're encouraged to add what they wish to add. for the discussion. You can also do things like Nancy Klein's thinking time. Everyone gets 3 minutes to share what they feel, what they're experiencing, what they've learned about a different topic. It may be a certain project. It may be moving the head office to a different location. It may be, in terms of one project, myself and Samira, our Director of Learning and Development, we were working with different people in an airport, deciding where the next runway was. Wow, so much in terms of wind and engineering and airspace, all these people working together for that particular common purpose. So that was a project team brought together for that. Generative thinking was essential, enabling everyone's voices to be heard. Ignore some of the voices and you can have disaster at the extreme. Think about in theatre, in hospitals, or health and safety issues in other fields as well. So we also sometimes bring in team types. So just have a think yourself. What type of team player are you from those things on the left? Which one's your go-to and strength, your preference? Which of those areas do you least prefer or is not your go-to? And so what you can see from this is a lot for a team. It's more like an organization than a team. It can be a team of teams. It shows that there's not as many optimists in this team as there are finishers and analysts. Now, if it's procurement or finance, maybe that's okay. However, for some teams, maybe they need more optimists in the team. So when hiring, it can support that decision making. And if not hiring, someone else needs to step into that role of optimist. Okay, so another thing that's really useful, we sometimes do that live 360 with the team to bring out concrete examples. Give us an example of when Jawaha was, at her best with her innovative hat on, and therefore people understand how others see them as well. So important. And then throughout all this, quite often as a knock-on effect, people in the team pick up coaching skills, yay! And so the impact there, as per the title of the session today, a ripple effect happens because they start using coaching with the people that they work with in different teams. People become more aware of powerful questions and a powerful way to ask them. And then another thing, stakeholder mapping. Who has influence on this team? That alone is such a fabulous question. Where is the relationship between the team and certain stakeholders? I'm thinking of work once with a regulatory authority and the legal elements, that sometimes communication meant that people outside of the authority were getting frustrated. And so it became apparent by sitting in the chair of certain stakeholders using the Gestalt empty chair technique, more empathy for the stakeholders was experienced, and that increased the responsiveness, the regularity of communication, and it helped everyone, including the regulatory authority themselves. So where are we in terms of our relationships, just as one aspect, the relationships with our stakeholders? Group or team, I feel we've talked about that one enough. And then timelines. This is a beautiful activity to do with teams, and it impacts especially new team members. So whether it's online or in person, sharing when the team was formed and the highs and lows of the team merged with another team and what happened then. this team leader that had been with the team for a long time retired. And what happened then? Who are the ghosts in the system? They're not in the team anymore. It's like their voices are still being heard. So you really get to know the team as an entity when you do this type of timeline activity. It's beautiful. And then bringing in a systemic focus. So I used this slide recently for a team. That's why we've got Qatar in there. What do we need to focus on now in service of our stakeholders? What's happening in our field? And this was energy team, energy sector. What's happening in our field that we need to benchmark? All sorts of ways of looking at what's happening out there and the way the team need to address it here. Okay? And the patterns and the parallel processes. And then, depending on your definition of team coaching, we blend in never consultancy. However, we do blend in facilitation and Barry Oshery's tools, taking time out of time. In the middle of a meeting, we observe and we say, hey, obviously with permission and not the first meeting necessarily, hey, what's going on now in terms of your process, your ways of working together? And that's great learning for the team. And we ask them to share. And then we may even say, and what way could even more voices in this room be heard? Okay. And then we shared as well, sometimes team building may need to happen. Team building around different topics. It can be to do with trust, communication. It can be also to do with onboarding a new member as well. So that can, sometimes happen mid-team coaching. Team charter, enabling a team to align with their purpose. I put a post today on Neckett-Mcinroy's LinkedIn group about creating our own personal purpose statements. And then as a comment on that, it also mentions ways to use that with teams. The more aligned they are and the more they share together the ways they need to work together, the more effective they will be. You can even do this as a coat of arms, where together, like a vision board, they can stick on images or words to represent the way they need to be. We've done this and then they've had it made onto canvas so they can hang it in the office and keep it front and center. And then other skill drills, listening beyond words, appreciative inquiry, even phenomenological approaches. What's going on for you as a team right here and now? Positive psychology can be blended in to team coaching as well. How are you as a team in terms of resilience, coping with setbacks and dependencies? And then many times we may bring in models, Lencioni for one. What is the research around a team and a high performing, high impact team? And when they're aware of these things, that can help them to focus on what they need to work on as a team. It can call each other out. One branding and marketing consultancy, they actually blended into their meetings after this high performance team conversation that they needed to celebrate more together. And so they started having balloons where the person at the end of the meeting who was star of the week was allowed to pop the balloon and it had a gift voucher in it. So they came up that creative way together to celebrate, because teams need to celebrate. And then observing business as usual. This can mean observing many different things. I was invited just recently into a team with some people offshore on an oil rig on the Teams, Microsoft Teams, and then others in the room. And they were asking for feedback on what ways can they communicate in meetings real time more effectively together. And so that then I turned around like a mirror and said to them, well, what ways can you? Of course, because I'm coaching. And then I also, have you tried, what about this? Other things that have worked for other teams as well. But of course, the focus first on the team and their knowledge. Bring the knowledge in the system out first of all. Many ways to increase psychological safety with teams. One beautiful way, and we'll go there in a second on Miro. So a beautiful way is to ask the team to play in the sandpit, and this comes from team we work with Lego, with the Lego organization. Sharing vulnerability. It can be a personal vulnerability or a professional one. When did you fail? And everyone gets time to share. And I've gone really sort of, I'm remembering what was actually present in that session. Senior leaders sharing to others when they failed really helps to support psychological safety. And teams have that I've got your back attitude a lot more when they can fail together and then mop up the mess together as well. Loads of other things you can do, constellations, you can, you know, who's playing villain, victim, hero, who's playing child or adult, you know, drama triangle or transactional analysis. So many ways we can work with teams. So the other thing is, with all of this, after a team coaching session is another fabulous time to have supervision. Here's where I'm at with the team. And if you co-coach teams, the two of you together having supervision together, we have this in the plan. Where do we go next with the team in the next session? Or there is a difficult situation that needs washing away to enable you to be fit for purpose with the next session with your team. And of course, individually, we're a drop. Together, we make up an ocean. Doesn't that just say why team coaching can have such a positive transformational impact, in my view, on our world? And so, from the learning there, let's play. And then we'll go to questions. And I think because of time, because I've spoke quite a long time, we may actually have to, I'll share the Miro link and I'll make sure it goes out from the chapter's email as well. So you can look at the other things on there. Just get back to me if there's any questions. So I'm sharing my screen. This is one of my favorite AI tools. I know some of you who've attended our programs may have seen this before. So I invite you to either shout out or team at ICF Saudi, help me if anyone's typing in the chat. Where are you right now in terms of your takeaways from what I've shared? Or another way of saying that, like maybe easier, what's your biggest takeaways?
Oh. Okay.
And if you can give one word, even better.
Okay.
Anyone like to share?
Sorry, Claire. Claire, do we have to choose the image? I'm not understanding.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm inviting you to share one word to sum up your takeaway. When we put some words in here, then okay. I'm going to click on one of the types of art and it will create for us a unique image to encapsulate all of that learning.
Okay, any words? What come up for you?
What you're learning from the session so far?
For me, variety coaching.
Abundance.
Abundance, Khaled. Yeah,
Thank you.
جواهر, joy.
Readiness.
Fantastic. 2 or 3 more.
Collaboration.
Collaboration, Sarah. Exciting, Macarena. Tools, Gabriella. Impact, Trish. Collective intelligence, Elsa. Oh, many words. Let's
Just
see.
let me sort out my spelling there. Exciting tools, impact.
Trust.
Okay, now
Trust. Yeah, okay.
we've still got 76 characters. Should we say one more word?
Okay, so Sarah wrote trust the process. Gabriella, safety.
Brilliant.
Challenging, Macarena, yeah. Ready?
Yay! Okay, and we are ready. Challenging. There we go. For someone who's dyslexic, it's quite embarrassing typing on the screen, especially when I'm typing fast. So there we go. And then what happens is you'll see some of them are premium. I do have the premium account. The others, you've got many different styles here of image, even without the premium account. So let's click on cartoon. Okay, so we've got all the words. I've clicked cartoon and then I press create. And as simple as that, although saying that, I'm in a hotel room at the moment and the internet isn't quite as fast as, you know, sometimes we get impatient and we think, it's only 3 seconds. And then what happens next is the image is created. Now, while the image is being created, any questions? Because it usually gets done a lot quicker than this. Anyone, any questions?
There was a question in the chat. Will you share the slides with us, or?
I certainly will. If I share them to the chapter and they can send them out to everyone who's attended.
Excellent.
How does that sound?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Claire, while we wait, well, I'm certified with David Clutterberg for the past 10 years. And apart from supervision, from your experience, what do you anticipate that us as coaches would really need to invest in ourselves in terms of, you know, self-development? I mean, apart from supervision, because definitely that's what I do on a regular basis, but what do you anticipate looking at the future?
Okay, so for me, I think it's growing in a breadth and depth. So one thing is experiencing work with more teams, but more teams in different sectors, different size teams, teams of teams, online, in person, working with a team coach where there's true partnership. Even if this one won the work and they brought that one in, even working together is a fabulous contracting conversation between the two team coaches for their team coaching work together. And then the other thing I'd say is, where do you need to grow? So I work with them, I deliver on part of David's senior practitioner, and I also supervise team coaches in groups for David. And then there's other things that I dived into. I'm also addicted to learning. Dived into, such as psychodynamics and using that type of thing in team coaching. I did a Gestalt program. We do a day Gestalt program for team coaches, almost like a conversion course for the tools and techniques you can use in team coaching. And it's really considering as well, with the teams you're working with, I'd keep a journal. What's occurring over the different teams? What's occurring with this team? And what are you noticing in terms of your skills, knowledge, and behaviors? And what needs a focus? And I also think so much more research. So I'm doing a book chapter for a book by Peter Hawkins on working with teams of teams. And
Wow.
that is moving the field forward, because working with teams and teams, I think we'll see more of it. And so in that sense, practitioner research is another thing that's fantastic, because together we're moving the field forward. And you don't need to be an expert at research to dive into practitioner research. Even getting feedback from the team, that is partly practitioner research. Now, I'm so sorry. I bet the people who wrote I've never had this where it's taken so long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to leave it, and I'm going to send the picture with the slides, should it behave itself, because I've never seen it take that long ever. Any more questions?
Macarena, is your question answered, or you'd like us to ask?
Yeah, my question is, do you use any existing team assessment before starting the process? Or do you do takes?
So we use a team level 1, team advanced profile. I'll put it in the chat. We train people in it as well. The reason we use this is because we did a lot of research on high impact and performing teams, and we mapped the profile to our model. And then, of course, it's done 360. And it's all about how is the team, not about how the individuals are. So some people say, yeah, I use Belbin, for example, but that's how individuals are as a team player. And what we feel you need is, how is the team performing? Because that helps create the roadmap. And the other thing is, I did 2 certificates and 1 diploma in team coaching. And, you know, there was team level, there's only about 5 or 6 on the market, but team level tools in those. We created our own just because we wanted to map it to our model and research, but also we needed it in different languages, because, for example, I do a lot of work in the Middle East and we needed it in Arabic. And so it was easier for us to translate ours, and then other people can use it as well. And of course, at the end of the project, and then you can see the impact that the team coaching has had. There's always transients, of course, team members leave, team members join, but we sort of say, you know, all things being equal, you were there and now you're here.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
So what I'll do, Rehan, instead of me fumbling about now, I will write an email, attach the slides, include the link to the profile, and also include the link to Miro, so that people can see all the different bits from the session.
Sure. Thank you very much for that. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Dr. Clare, I know you had a busy day. Thank you for accepting our invitation and joining us. Ladies, gentlemen, can you please take a minute to fill up a very quick survey? And so glad that you attended our session. We are super grateful to everyone, especially Dr. Clare, Sarah, my colleague. Because I'm sick, she stayed with me to support. Thank you so much, Sarah, and Lena for the Zoom management. Thank you everyone for joining us, and see you in other webinars.
Thank you.
Well done, ICF.
Thank you very much.